I am now recording. This is a video analysis of how we watch film together as a football team and as a staff and as a team with an offensive focus. I'm going to open up our video editing software program called Huddle. Huddle is the website that we use to store all of our game footage. We also do all of our exchanges with the teams that we play. Every team that we play uh, in the course of our season also has a Huddle account, and so we exchange film this way. Um, student athletes have access to Huddle as well. Their access looks a little bit different than ours, but with Huddle we're able to tag plays, and so I'm going to open up our Caledonia game film. Uh, Caledonia, our Caledonia football game happened on September 5, 2014. It's a game that we lost 47-21. It was our worst loss of the season, and it was a good learning tool for us. It was um, it was a film that we spent probably a half an hour with our kids just watching and going through. We didn't do that every single week. Huddle has an app that or has some features on it that allow you to make notes to the football players. And so, for instance, I just turned the annotations on. If I go to our second play, you'll see this button right here is going to be a note that was made to our kids. Um, and so this would be a way for us to have the kids watch the film on their own, and then us to kind of give them comments, individual comments as they watch the film. So Casey evidently missed a block, and the coach who runs the scout or who runs the kickoff return team made a note there for Casey, for the kids who were watching the kickoff return and seeing why we didn't have more success as to what block he missed. Being the offensive coordinator, I'm more concerned with our offensive film. So once we've tagged everything, and you can see down on the bottom of the screen that we have a bunch of our information tagged here, then I can select just to look at the offensive film. And so this is what we'll do with the players. You'll see that we ran 60 plays of offense. That includes a couple of plays that maybe there were penalties or false starts. So probably closer to 55, somewhere between 55 and 60 actual plays. And so what we'll do is we will go through this the game film with the players, and so I'm just going to do that with you right now, and kind of give you a demonstration of how we do that and the teaching points that we emphasize. So I'm going to make this full screen here, and this is what we would do with the players. They would be seeing this on the screen in front of the classroom, and so then we would just we have two film views. We have a sideline or what we call a wide view, which is what we're looking at right here, and then we also have an end zone view, which we'll see in just a minute. The wide view is actually better for us to watch the wide receivers and for the quarterback in terms of the decisions that he makes. You can see up in the top bar here, this is our play. So this is the second play of the game on offense, and we're running our Indy run concept. This is actually an Indy right play. We would call this 22 Indy. So what we would look at here is wide receivers have a screen that they're going to run off of this. If I play it forward, you're going to see we run a little bubble screen called a key screen off of this. And so we would talk a little bit after the game about, well, we would talk on each of these plays with John about, do you think this was the right decision? Kind of asking it as a question. What do you think? Could we have gotten this screen if we would have thrown it? What would have happened? And so kind of putting it in their plate and letting them see what decisions were made. We didn't block this very well, as you'll see in just a minute. So obviously, looking at it after the fact, I'd say we would have rather thrown the bubble screen than run the ball here. But had we blocked this correctly, this could have been a nice play. I still think when we talked this over with John, I think we decided that the screen pass would have been the better choice here. We would have had our athlete on, assuming we would have made this block right here, we would have had our athlete one-on-one with his defender with a chance to get a big play. Here's the end zone camera. The end zone film is going to, this is the exact same play just from the end zone film or point of view. and you'll be able to see some of the things that we would talk about with our players. The first thing, let me turn that off for us. So our offensive line coach has gone through and he's made some comments to the offensive linemen. And we can turn that off. We wouldn't have that on when we watch it together as a team. But it helps us also as coaches just to make notes so that we can be thinking about what we want to talk to the guys about. The advantage of watching this film together is we can look and see how well we are in sync as a team. One of the things that I immediately notice as I watch this is our right guard, how high he is. If you notice, he's our one junior on the line. The rest of these guys are seniors. And he's much higher. In run blocking, we want to be flat back. We want to be driving off the ball. He's too high. And as a result, he catches the block and gets driven back as opposed to driving the defender back. Now, fortunately, on the play side, that's not that big of a deal. This whole play is designed to press this way and then bend back into here. The bigger issue is on the backside here. Our left tackle for this particular play, Nate, doesn't get his head across, and you can see that. We'll see that in slow motion. It's his first step. He steps with his left foot. He should be stepping with his right foot. He should be getting his right helmet on the play side number and his left hand on the backside number. And he's got help from his buddy who's going to drive up into this linebacker right here. So Nate's block is the key block that we missed here. The tight end here, this is actually our normal tackle. We had an overload formation, a funny formation that we did this week. He also misses his block on the linebacker, you'll see as we work through in slow motion. So not only did we miss the double team right here by bad footwork, we also missed the second guy. Had we taken care of these two guys, you would see that we would have put this guy on an island. The running back could have easily cut right back up there, and we would have had a really nice play. The only guy we wouldn't have been able to block was the safety, and we'd have a running back one-on-one with the safety, which is what we try to get every single time we run the football. Here's our second offensive play, and we won't take that much time going through every single play, but our second offensive play is a pass play. We call it hitches. The offensive line is going to quick pass set. The wide receivers are just going to run 6-yard hitches. So one of the things that we would be looking for, especially early in the season, is our stance and start and taking false steps. And I noticed that immediately from almost every single one of our receivers, that their first step for this receiver right here, his first step for Ryan is backwards, which means he's going to be slow coming off the ball. He's losing ground. It's wasted movement. And we do a lot of drills working on stance and start early in the season. And so we really focus on those little details. And so this would be something that we would work on again. So if we see and this receiver on the top of the screen does it a little bit as well. He has to drop down before he makes a movement. And if you look, his front foot drops back before he goes forward. Again, that's wasted movement. That's wasted time. And so we would do some more drills this week because we're seeing on film that our receivers are false stepping. We would do drills this week in our drill time, focusing on them not false stepping. The wide receivers really don't like that drill. It's a fairly boring drill. But obviously it's still an issue for us. We try to make it competitive to keep it from being as boring, to see, have races to see who on the snap of the ball can get across like a 5-yard line first. In pass protection, one of the things that I would notice again is our junior on the line, our right guard. He's vacating his we call this a cylinder. He has a cylinder here that he needs to block. He's looking to help on this guy right here. We're sliding our protection to the right, but he needs to move with his eyes and not with his body. By moving to the right here, he creates a lane. If this linebacker had decided to blitz, he would have been late coming off there, and that guy would have got pressure in a quarterback's face. So we would work on a drill this week, we would notice that in film, we would talk about it, and then we would go out and drill on this. Monday's a big drill day for us, so after watching film with the players, we'll go outside and we'll drill, and we try to be specific in drilling the things that we struggled with during the week. One of the things that we really try to do is ask the players questions and ask them why something didn't work. Try to get them to figure out what could have worked better here. This is a pass play for us. We don't run a lot of pass plays where we release the running back out into the pattern. A lot of times we use the running back to pass block. But this week we released him a little bit more. We thought we could get him in one-on-one matchups with a linebacker, which was a matchup that we liked. Quarterback makes a really nice decision here. What you'll notice is that 2 defenders go with the running back, creating a mismatch. I would probably tell our quarterback pre-snap read. They've got us outmanned over. Well, they have 4 defenders over here guarding 3 guys, and they have 2 defenders over here guarding 2. So this is a good side to pick. But his pre-snap read should tell him that the center of the field is wide open. So we would watch this play, and I would ask our quarterback, what could we have done differently? What would have made this play better? Our quarterback is a senior this year, and he's a pretty smart young man. And I think he would have easily, if I remember correctly, he recognized this pretty easily. He threw what we call a 1 ball here, kind of between a 1 and a 2. A 1 is a ball that's right on a line. A 2 has a little bit of arc, and 3 has a lot of arc to it. And so he's throwing a deep pattern, a post pattern to a receiver, and he's throwing it on a line when there's no center fielder. There's nobody in the middle of the field. What happens when the quarterback throws the ball on a line is it allows a defender who's been beat to make a play on the ball. The offensive player has beat his defender. He's gotten past him, and yet the defender is able to make a play on the ball from behind because there's not air underneath the ball. With no center fielder, our quarterback should have thrown a 3 ball, a ball that has more arc on it, that the wide receiver could have used his body position to shield off the defender so that the defender couldn't put his hand across and knock it away. This could have and should have been a big play for us. And as the season progressed, our quarterback didn't make that mistake too often. This is an interesting play. In some of our plays, we have a run-pass option. This would be one of them. This is a shovel pass to the running back where we block a power and we read this defender right here. If the defender comes up the field, we'll throw the shovel pass to the running back. If the defender sits, if the defender crashes or sits, then we have a pass concept off of this where we throw an out to this wide receiver right here. So the quarterback is making a read on this defender if he's coming up the field or if he's sitting. Quarterback makes a nice decision here on the snap of the ball. The defender comes up the field aggressively, which means that we didn't even need to block him, and we're going to have an extra blocker for an extra defender. Had he sat, we would have looked to throw this out right here, or potentially this fade to this receiver right here. Even though the quarterback made the right decision, the play didn't work. The reason the play didn't work was we had everybody doing the right thing on the line of scrimmage except for our right tackle. Our right tackle's responsibility on our power scheme, on our down blocking scheme, is to step down into B gap and seal B gap. The team that we're playing here, Caledonia, is very well coached and ran a really tough scheme, especially for us early on in the season. We only scored 21 points against these guys. It was our second lowest point total of the season. One of the reasons that we struggled was because of the different stunts that they ran. What you'll see is Nate is supposed to be stepping down and blocking the B-gap defender. this from the center to the guard. This is called the A gap. This is the B gap. This is the C gap. When his defender releases outside, he should let him go because he's not going to make the play, and he should step and look for anybody filling B gap. He doesn't do that. He chases his defender into the C gap, and he opens up a lane for this blitzing linebacker to come through. Obviously, in watching film, you look at that and think that's an easy fix. How could he make that mistake? But there's so many different things that happen in a particular play. If we can have 10 guys do the right thing, but if one guy does the wrong thing, the play won't work. As the season progressed, we got a lot better on our power scheme. That ended up being one of our best schemes. The next play we have here is a smash tail post. Again, we had in our video analysis in the preseason, we had decided that, before the week, we decided that there was a mismatch with our running back on a linebacker, and we got that matchup that we wanted to right here. Quarterback maybe bailed out of the pocket a little bit sooner than he needed to. The center was getting blown back a little bit. This was an issue we had early on in the season. We ended up switching our center and guard due to an injury later in the season, and this didn't happen as much when we made that switch. But we got the matchup we wanted. We got our running back on a linebacker and got a big play as a result. See, our right guard does a much better job there of not vacating and also using his hand. We try to really coach the positive as much as possible. A lot of the things that I've said in here are the negatives and the things we're doing wrong, but we also really try as a coaching staff to let the guys know when they do something well. This is another thing we did really well, switching up the snap count. By changing the snap count, by giving a dummy snap count, we can often find out what the defense is trying to do pre-snap. And you can see here the complexity of what this defense is doing. The guys that are crossing in here, the blitzes that are coming. This was a tough scheme for us to pick up on early on in the season with all their stunting. Had we gone back and played these guys again, we would have run more tight end set. We would have run more tight end and fullback set by adding an extra gap here that reduces the number of games they could play. We would have also liked to have thrown the ball a little bit more. We completed a really high percentage of our passes, and I think we could have thrown the ball a little bit more. Two of the next three plays, you'll see our quarterback mishandles the ball. We get fumbles on key situations. This was something that was an issue for us early on in the season. I think our quarterback had 5 fumbles in the first 6 games, and first 6 or 7 games, and in the playoffs had 0 fumbles and 0 interceptions. It was a point of emphasis for us because of the number of mistakes we made early in the season. We did a lot of drills, and that's really the value of film analysis. It allows you to find where your strengths and weaknesses are, and allows you to try to play to your strengths in the upcoming weeks, but also to work on your weaknesses. This is a nice film for us to watch with young quarterbacks. We have a senior quarterback that we're going to be replacing next year. This is a nice film for me to watch in the offseason with our young quarterbacks to be able to show, hey, we've got 4 defenders defending 3 guys. So our key screen, our bubble screen, is not a good option here, but it gives us a really nice box to run the football in, and that's what we find here. So even though it's second and long, we get a real nice run down to the 3-yard line. I'm not sure what our quarterback is audibling there, but we give our quarterback the ability to change some plays. So I can't remember back in this game if maybe we had a different play called and he switched the play. Oftentimes through video analysis going into a week, we'll tell the quarterback if we have this play on but you see it this, then change the play. And so having a senior quarterback who's a 3-year starter, he often checked us out of bad plays and into really good plays.